friends. This is another episode of the program Empire of Lies, in which we discuss manipulation and disinformation in the Russian media. Peace on the conditions of defeat: how Kremlin television is rewriting Europe's borders. In the latest episode of 60 Minutes, Olga Skabeeva solemnly recounts the sensational details of the meeting between Trump and Zelensky. The main news is that the US president allegedly demanded that Kyiv admit defeat, surrender Donbas, and stop at the front lines, otherwise Ukraine will be destroyed. Behind this set of sensations lies not just another manipulation, but a well-thought-out ideological framework. Russia is offering Europe and the world a new version of peace on television, peace on the conditions of capitulation, legitimizing the seizure of foreign territory, and turning international law into window dressing. 1. Admitting defeat means saving oneself. The main thesis of the broadcast: Ukraine must accept the loss of Donbas and stop at the front lines. Trump's so-called pragmatism, as depicted in Russian reports, is presented as evidence of a new realism. In reality, this is a proposal to formalize the results of military aggression and present it as a compromise. Territorial conquests become not a crime, but a starting point for negotiations. Skabeeva, quoting Western publications, seems to unwittingly echo the Kremlin's logic. Reality exists, and it must be acknowledged. But reality in this case is the result of invasion, deaths, deportations, and destruction. It cannot be legitimized without destroying the very idea of international order. This approach transforms peace not into the end of war, but into its legitimate continuation by other means. 2. Security guarantees for all sides, a misrepresentation. The second motive is the demand for security guarantees for both sides, including Moscow. This formula sounds moderate, almost diplomatic. But in context, it means one thing: to equate the aggressor and the victim, pretending the conflict is symmetrical. When a country that started a war demands guarantees from those it attacks, peace turns into an absurd spectacle. Thus, the rhetoric of equal responsibility whitewashes aggression and makes punishment impossible. Moscow wants Russia's security to mean the absence of responsibility, and that's precisely what it calls peace. According to the newspaper, the negotiations nearly collapsed. The American president tossed aside the map the Ukrainian delegation had brought with them and declared that Kyiv must accept the loss of Donbas. The White House incumbent himself did not confirm the Financial Times report. You said you had a friendly meeting with President Zelensky. During that meeting, did you say he should cede all of Donbas, which is currently controlled by Russia? No, we didn't discuss that. We believe they should simply stop where the front line is now. Right now, there's a clear line of battle. Anything else is very difficult to negotiate. It's like, you take this, we take that, and so on. There are too many options. So I'm saying stop right now at the front line. Go home, stop killing people. 3. America is tired. Europe is wrong. A bet on fatigue. Much of the broadcast is based on the idea of Western fatigue. Trump allegedly yelled at Zelensky, "Europe is cutting aid by 60%, and the Ukrainian president left Washington with an ultimatum instead of weapons. This creates the impression that the West no longer believes in Ukraine and is looking for an excuse to close the door. This isn't aimed at the Russian audience, which has long been convinced of the decay of Europe. It's a signal to the outside world. Moscow is offering the West a psychological way out of the conflict, fatigue disguised as prudence. If you believe that everyone is tired, then you can convince yourself that freezing the front line is wisdom, not a renunciation of principles. In reality, it's simply another form of capitulation, not military, but moral. 4. Europe is out of the game, a narrative of humiliation. The program repeats a motif found in both Solovyov and Nikonov. Europe decides nothing. Moscow and Washington remain decisive, while the EU is merely an observer, trying to disrupt the summit, but ultimately forced to agree. For the Kremlin, this is not an insult to Europe, but a plan of action to devalue European agency, erode trust within the EU, and pit the warring West against peace-loving Budapest. The choice of Hungary as the venue for the upcoming summit is presented as a symbol of a new hierarchy, Orban's reasonable Europe versus Brussels' insane Europe. But behind this lies a more serious goal, to destroy the very idea of European solidarity as a source of strength. This was the program Empire of Lies. See you soon.